8 o'clock, Jim Davis and the Buckeye Boy from the Bozarth Miller Chevrolet Buick Studios, the most trusted name in automobiles. It's Wine About a Wednesday with Talon Wine. Something from your daily life or your sports life you want to grouse about, complain about. Send that to us today on the Chick-fil-A Breakfast Team phone line, 970-242-1340. Somebody will win a bottle of fantastic Talon Wine out in Palisade. Also play the number game coming up a little bit. And also on the program this morning, our Qdoba question of the day. All-Star Game's coming to Coors Field. Home Run Derby is on the 12th, and you'll be able to hear it right here on the Team Sports Network. If you could do just an all-Rockies Home Run Derby, 8 of the best home run hitters in franchise history, from the Vinny Castillas to the Todd Heltons to the Larry Walkers to the Troy Tulowitzkis, who would be the 8 players you'd want past and present in Home Run Derby? So text that to us today as well, 970-242-1340. All right, we start at the top of the 8 o'clock hour with Aaron Solomon. He is a writer for Esquire for their website. He has recently written the article in NCAA versus Alston. The Supreme Court also hits a home run for minor leaguers. He joins us right now on the Chick-fil-A Breakfast Team phone line. Aaron, I appreciate the time. How are you doing today?
It's great. My pleasure to be here, and I want to get my vote in for Larry Walker because I am a native Montrealer, and I live about 2 seconds from Jarry Park, home of the Montreal Expos.
Do you think you guys are going to get a team again? I know there's been kind
never.
of a growing...
Nope, not in a million years.
Never going to happen?
Nope.
I know there's been a movement at times of groups in Montreal trying to get a baseball team back. You'll say it will never, ever happen again. That's too bad.
Well, tiny market, number one. And number two, there's really not a Major League Baseball stadium here anymore. We had the Olympic Stadium where the Expos finished.
Right.
Jarry Park now, where I live, is a national tennis center. That's where we have the big tournaments. So Olympic Stadium is really no longer a Major League Baseball facility. Small market, not going to happen, which is too bad. Lots of baseball fans in Montreal.
Back in '94, the strike season. I mean, Glad Guerrero, Larry Walker, Randy Johnson. I mean, that team... That team, Aaron, was built to win the World Series. They looked like they were going to be the favorites to bring home the World Series to Montreal back in '94.
And to show what kind of baseball city this is, my street corner, they renamed Gary Carter Lane. Like, this is seriously still a baseball town. Although, of course, with the Montreal Canadiens in the final, we're a hockey town first.
Exactly. It's been that way for a while. Aaron Solomon joining us. He writes for Esquire for their website. Now, the recent decision by the Supreme Court, a 9-0 decision against the NCAA in favor of student athletes who had taken that to the land's highest court about educational incentives, things like paid internships, travel abroad for studies, buying a student athlete a laptop, things like that, those are things that certainly can be provided to student athletes that compete here in the NCAA ranks. Now, in your article, you take that decision and kind of work it into what kind of impact that might have for minor league baseball players. We have a minor league team here in Grand Junction, was associated originally with the Colorado Rockies. It's owned by the Monforts that own, of course, the big league Rockies team, but now they're a partner league with the Pioneer League. They're not directly connected to the Rockies organization anymore outside of the Monforts owning the local Rockies team. How does that Supreme Court ruling with the NCAA, how does that play into minor league baseball players?
So you raised so many good points in that. First of all, like so many people listening, I'm a massive minor league baseball fan. I've seen minor league baseball all over the nation, and it's a great thing. Minor league baseball players get the real short end of the stick. There's an organization out there that is advocating for minor league players. It's called Advocates for Minor Leaguers. And they're trying to get minor leaguers a $15,000 annual salary. That's how low minor league wages are right now. So the way the Supreme Court plays into this is really, really simple. In the NCAA decision last week, they basically called the NCAA anti-competitive, which they are. Then they also took a shot at MLB baseball. And they said, it is remarkable, I'm paraphrasing, it's remarkable that a century later, Major League Baseball still has their antitrust exemption. And my prediction is, in the next Supreme Court term, which starts this October, we're going to get a good challenge to that antitrust exemption, and then things are going to eventually open up for minor leaguers to earn a fair and living wage.
Joining us this morning from Esquire, Aaron Solomon. He's written an article about how the recent NCAA ruling by the Supreme Court could impact minor leaguers going forward when the Supreme Court, of course, holds their fall session. So, Aaron, it's something we've talked about in this program a lot over the years, the fact that the minor league players don't make a living wage. I mean, the highest that they can make, and this is guys that receive bonus money and things like that. They're first-round picks that make, we'll get $1 million, $1.5 million bonus. These are guys, they're out there grinding, lower-round picks. I mean, $7,500 a year is kind of the high end of that, which, to be honest, that's laughable. I mean, you can go work at a fast food restaurant and make better money than that, considering the travel, all the things that go into being a minor league baseball player. That certainly, like you said, it's wages that are certainly unacceptable for a group of players that are the base of the talent for Major League Baseball. Basically a corporation makes $11 billion a year that make a whole lot of money, and those minor leaguers don't see any of it.
You are preaching to the choir. And the thing is, because baseball also has this little thing called the America's Pastime Act, the Save America's Pastime Act. They're exempt from minimum wage rules. Now, the other thing that's really crazy here is that every team treats things differently. So this group, Advocates for Minor Leaguers, last weekend put out a tweet comparing the way the Mets and the Phillies treat their minor league players. The Mets, for example, all the way down from AAA down through low A, don't give a housing stipend, don't cover hotel team travel fully, where the Phillies do. So there's such a disparity even between the way some of these players are being treated depending on the organization they play for.
Aaron Solomon joining us today from Esquire. We're talking about the recent Supreme Court ruling against the NCAA and how that might impact Major League Baseball and obviously impact minor league baseball players going forward. I'm sure you've probably heard about Big League Advance. Michael Schwimmer, the former Phillies relief pitcher, started this where they invest in players like Fernando Tatis Jr. They advance the money, and then if they make the major leagues, then they pay back a percentage, 10%, 15% of their earnings in their contract. That does not include any endorsement deals, things like that. If they pay that money, a percentage of it, through the rest of their career. For some guys like Fernando Tatis Jr., whose father played in Major League Baseball, he still said, look, I needed the money because I needed to have better living accommodations. I needed to have a personal trainer. I could eat better. Those were things that helped him make it through the minor leagues and to become the highest paid player in Major League Baseball. I guess just your take on Michael Schwimmer and the folks at Big League Advance. Is this a good thing for minor leaguers? Because he that's where he came from, and he said he had a teammate at one time in the minor leagues that he saw going through a dumpster to try to find something to eat, which is just a horrible thing that any player would have to do that, or anybody would have to do that for that matter. But give me your take on Big League Advance.
So it's basically like the reverse mortgage for minor leaguers.
Exactly.
Yeah, pass. I mean, I can go on for 6 hours if you'd like, but hard pass. We need to change the working conditions for minor league baseball players so they're able to earn a living wage, period. You mentioned a few minutes ago, let's look at Bryce Harper, right? Bryce Harper makes $24.7 million this year. But even when he was playing, I watched him play at Single A Hagerstown, Maryland. He had a signing bonus. He was fine. This is the great minority of minor league baseball players. You got a lot of people out there who are making, $7,500 around that a year with nothing else. And how are they going to feed themselves properly? How are they going to stay, as you said, in reasonable living conditions so they've got a chance to work their way through the minor league ranks? It is an unfair and unbalanced playing field. And the number one thing standing in the way of getting this fixed is this remarkable century-old antitrust exemption. You've got a lot of businesses in Grand Junction, Colorado, right? None of them are exempt from antitrust rules, true?
Very true.
Except Major League Baseball.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, guys. We got to fix this. We got to fix this the next Supreme Court term and give these minor league players a chance at having a career.
Aaron Solomon joining us from Esquire. Do want to mention, Aaron, that Grand Junction has a tie to Bryce Harper. He played here in the Junior College Baseball World Series many, many years ago, and of course he became the number one pick in the amateur draft. So we got a chance to see Bryce Harper up close and personal in Grand Junction right before he got drafted by the Washington Nationals.
What you're touching on is so key, right? That's why we love minor league ball. We love telling each other stories about when we saw these players. Like, I've seen Washington Nationals starting pitchers do rehab stints down in Hagerstown, Maryland for like 2 weeks. And, that old stadium that was from 1931 used to fill up to watch these guys pitch, 4 innings of what was a single-A work of art. These are the kinds of things that we remember about baseball. And if we don't get this fixed, there aren't going to be any major leagues.
Aaron Solomon joining us from Esquire has written a fantastic piece about the recent ruling by the Supreme Court against the NCAA and in favor of student athletes and how that might impact their view of antitrust going forward against Major League Baseball and what they currently don't pay minor league baseball players. Something else, Aaron, that you mentioned in the article is when there was the decision made to move the All-Star game from Atlanta because of Major League Baseball's objections to the changes to the voting laws in the state of Georgia, that they moved it out here. They moved it to Colorado to play at Coors Field coming up on July 13th. That there were Republicans in response to that move by Major League Baseball that wanted to go after Major League Baseball's antitrust exemption. Kind of take us through that a little bit and in regard to why their reasons why, obviously their reasons why they were upset about Major League Baseball making that move, but just your take on that situation.
Well, it's really funny when parties that have been in cahoots for a long time start to turn on each other. So the Republicans, and not just Republicans, but I would say kind of right-leaning Democrats, were really not happy when all of these corporations got together and essentially enacted political change. And again, the Major League Baseball antitrust exemption can be changed in one of two ways. It can be changed through legislation. So we're 100 years in, that hasn't happened yet. Or it can be changed by dictate from the highest court of the land, the Supreme Court, that only looks at real cases and controversies. My opinion is it's probably going to be the latter. The last thing that Major League Baseball, this very large, very successful, very profitable business, wants to hear are the politicians who've been in their corner saying, you better behave, because if not, we've been giving you carrots for a long time. If not, the stick we're taking out is potentially taking back your antitrust exemption. That is scary, scary stuff for the people who run Major League Baseball.
Aaron Solomon with Esquire joining us on the Jim Davis Show on the Team Sports Network. And in talking about some of the language in regard to antitrust and things like that, you referenced a part of the article here where, quote, first, the court talked about it in the past tense. Second, the court refused to even call it an exemption. And third, the court clarified its willingness to overturn an antitrust ruling on the facts if the facts on the ground have changed. And in nearly 50 years, the Supreme Court, and all the rulings in the past on this have, considered baseball's antitrust exemption along the value of an average MLB franchise and other things in order to kind of, maybe justify why the antitrust exemption was necessary back in the day. You're saying the rules of the game have changed, the world has changed, and now that antitrust exemption needs to be reconsidered.
The Supreme Court did the same thing a week ago in the NCAA versus Alston ruling in calling the NCAA anti-competitive. Now, I want to tell our listeners one thing. As someone who follows the Supreme Court every single day, when this court was formed as a 6-3 conservative majority, we all thought we had a pretty good idea what the court was going to do every single time. This court has been remarkably unpredictable so far. That this court might actually take down baseball's antitrust exemption would have been a huge surprise to people a year ago, but I actually believe that's what's going to end up happening. So anybody who takes this Supreme Court's decision for granted has to follow the court a little bit more closely. If I'm Major League Baseball, I'm nervous. I'm super nervous right now, and I may be trying to make some internal changes that could appease stakeholders rather than having the court say, baseball's antitrust exemption is done. I mean, the NCAA has been in a heck of a lot of turmoil, both internally and because of the Supreme Court the last 10 days. That itself is the biggest sports story in the country right now, and they did the same thing with Major League Baseball.
Aaron Solomon with Esquire Magazine joining us today on the Jim Davis Show on the Team Sports Network. Now, when you talk about the Supreme Court, that I don't know if it was terribly surprising. Maybe I think a bit surprising that they ruled in favor of the student athletes in the NCAA case. But for it to be a 9-0 decision, and Neil Gorsuch, another Colorado tie on the court, he issued the main opinion on it, and Brett Kavanaugh, another conservative justice, had some very scathing comments for the NCAA in regard to his response to their decision as well. Were you surprised it was 9-0? Okay, maybe they rule in favor of the student athletes, but a 9-0 on a court that, like you said, conservative leaning, but certainly, I think a lot of us were, I think, a little bit surprised that it went down the way it did with a 9-0 ruling.
With you 100%. I mean, again, I am a prognosticator like anybody else who follows sports or follows the Supreme Court. It was a really pretty clear decision, and that surprised a lot of people. Who knows? I mean, honestly, who knows where this thing is going to go? But as I said, people who think, we know exactly where the 6-3 court is going to go, has to think again. There's a lot of interest that this court is trying to balance. And remember, every single court has a legacy. One thing that this Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts has done is made it very clear to everybody, including the new members of the court, that he wants the court to speak with one clear voice, not 9 different voices. And so far, they're doing a pretty decent job. You've got to give them credit.
Aaron Solomon joining us on the Jim Davis Show. You're bound to get some pushback from some owners in Major League Baseball about the antitrust exemption. What do you think they're going to try to use to keep it, and your honest rebuttal to some of their arguments?
That's a really, really great question. So I don't know what they're going to use to try to keep it. That's going to be new from what they've done over the past past century. There's this whole argument that Major League Baseball, as part of the fabric of America, was different, and it shouldn't be regulated as other big businesses were. And I think that's because historically and traditionally, we didn't see these sports as businesses. People wouldn't think that Coca-Cola was the same thing as Major League Baseball in the kind of business that it was, but they are. And then when we saw the kinds of profits leagues like the NFL and Major League Baseball is making, it kind of gave us a little bit of pause and a little bit of perspective. So I personally don't know of any argument that Major League Baseball is going to be able to make that's going to be persuasive to the court.
Aaron Solomon with Esquire joining us on the program today. So one of the questions, why don't minor league players just form their own union?
That is a fantastic question. I'm so glad that came up. So I want us to put all of ourselves, and our listeners too, in the position of those minor league baseball players. Do you want to be one of these people that are going to organize the union for minor league baseball? Your career is done. And I'm telling you, this advocacy group led by former minor leaguer Garrett Brocious and this amazing lawyer named Harry Marino, they understand that there is no way that minor league baseball players are going to come out and they're going to form a union. That's not going to be the way that this thing resolves. It's going to have to be through advocacy. I personally, as a minor league baseball player, whether I was in rookie league ball, single A, even triple A, would not want to be one of the organizers of this union. I think that my career would essentially be over. We've seen this in professional sports over the past few years. Look at Colin Kaepernick. Anybody who's going to go out there and put themselves on the forefront politically and legally to advocate for their fellow players or advocate for a cause, it doesn't go well.
Aaron Solomon with us on the program today. How much of a responsibility, Aaron, does the Major League Baseball Players Association play a responsibility in how things are? Their union body, they all came through the minor league ranks. They know what it's like. Are they doing enough, or should they be doing more to address what, the place they came from, the conditions that exist there, and how they should be helping in some way to make it better?
I agree with what you're saying philosophically, totally. But practically, they are advocates for Major League Baseball players here. We all agree that the Major League Baseball pie is pretty big. But the more slices of that pie that you're going to slice off voluntarily for minor leaguers is going to affect both the present and future prospects of Major League Baseball players. So I understand the dynamic tension that's going on here, and I personally would be pleasantly surprised, but nonetheless surprised, if a lot of major leaguers en masse were to advocate for their minor league folks. And plus, let's also keep in mind that, yes, there are a good number of major leaguers who didn't have a signing bonus, who were earning whatever it was per month that was peanuts. But a lot of players who made the major league didn't have that path either. So I think that getting that kind of concerted effort from major leaguers behind minor leaguers would be a bit of a challenge.
Well, Aaron, we appreciate the time. Thank you for coming on. Of course, you can go to Esquire, the website, and read Aaron's article, along with lots of other stories involving the world of sports and also politics as well. You can check it out there. Are you an Alouettes fan, by the way, Aaron?
It's funny that you asked that, because when I lived in Montreal as a little kid, my dad and I had season tickets at the old Autostade. This is like 1970. The Autostade was on the water in Montreal. Games would happen in November, and the seats were only metal benches. Can you imagine what that felt like?
Oh.
So I used to be a huge Alouettes fan, yes.
But not these days, right? You focus more on baseball and...
I'm actually a huge NFL fan, as so many people are in Canada and across the world. I actually don't follow the CFL very closely at all.
Buffalo Bills, your favorite team? Who's your favorite team?
Buffalo Bills. Buffalo
Okay.
Bills are my team. I'm part of the Bills Mafia.
All right, one of our guys who works here from the great city of Buffalo, diehard Bills fan. So
You're not jumping through tables or anything, though.
yeah, you're
like
not
Bill's
doing that,
Mafia,
right, Darren? You're not going that
let's
crazy.
see what happens. Let's see what happens later this year. With Josh Allen, who knows? I might be jumping through a table.
You just might make that happen. Hey, just don't hurt yourself, okay? Make sure you try to be as safe as possible doing that if you can.
I'll do that.
Aaron,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming on today. Appreciate the insight. Great article, and thanks for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thanks.
All right, Aaron Solomon from Esquire. Really good article.
Yeah.
And we'll
Really
have
interesting topic, too.
Yeah, we'll have the podcast up later on this morning if you didn't get a chance to catch all that with Aaron Solomon. Join us from, is he in Montreal right now? I got the impression that
I don't know.
he
It
was.
sounded like he was talking like he wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was north of the border. Fun to have him on the program with us. All right, 8:22. Jim along with the Buckeye Boy. It is a Wine About It Wednesday with Talon Wine. Your chance to win a bottle of wine from Talon Winery out in Palisade. And it can be something from the world of sports. Maybe wine about the fact that, look, the Avalanche getting shut out in the big awards last night. No Norris Trophy for Cale Makar. If you had something to whine about in your personal life. You, a Buckeye Boy, had the neighbors lighting up the fireworks last night because
I appreciate that,
we
by the
know
way.
what a big holiday Tuesday, June 29th is. It's a huge, huge day.
Right.
I had
Maybe
the
they
guy,
were Super America, celebrating a week early.
They're it's going to be a week-long celebration for the folks that live they live next door to you, correct?
Down the street
Down the
behind us.
street, okay. I had the guy in the truck bellowing smoke, driving 10 miles an hour into the speed limit. He's in the right lane, go to pass him, decides he's going to cut me off when the road goes to one lane just to be a jackwagon, just to be a Delta Bravo. So we got something that's grinding your gears today. Send it our way, 970-242-1340, the Chick-fil-A Breakfast Team phone line. All right, it is time for you to win an antipasto salad from Junction Square Pizza, 7th and Main. It's time to play the number game today.
Yes. So Ryan McMahon, currently 16 home runs. He's closing in on 20 home runs on the season. He already's done it once for the Rockies. How many Rockies have multiple 20 home run seasons as a Colorado Rocky?
All right, first correct answer. If you've won the last 2 weeks, you have to sit it out. First correct answer wins an antipasto salad from Junction Square Pizza, doing their deep dish style from Detroit. Great pizza, great salad at 7th and Main. First correct answer, you win today. Text it in, 970-242-1340, confirming Hayden McGeary, your D2 Player of the Year, across the board in all the major publications. The Maverick catcher DH, he's going to join us at 9 o'clock this morning. So make sure you join us for that. All right, we're also looking today in our Qdoba question of the day. Got a lot going on today. Your top 8 Rockies for a all Rockies home run derby. Guys from Todd Helton, who, by the way, is the franchise leader in home runs to the Hall of Famer and Larry Walker, to kind of still what might have been in Troy Tulowitzki with the great power, Vinny Castilla, all these great names, the Big Cat, Andres Galarraga, to Trevor Story. 8 players from Rockies past and present that you think you would love to see in a home run derby. Nolan Arenado, of course, Nolan's going to be making his return to Coors Field with the Cardinals coming to town after, of course, the Rockies wrap up that series with the Pirates today. So send that our way today. Text or call 970-242-1340. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more on the Jim Davis Show on the Team Sports Network.
Good morning, gentlemen. What are the haps?
The Jim Davis Show on Colorado's sports leader, The Team.
Welcome back. Jim along with the Buckeye Boy. Wine About a Wednesday with Talon Wine. Got something you need to complain about? Send that our way, 970-242-1340. All right. So Hayden McGeary, because he's right now he has batting practice coming up. And so Hayden is going to come on in like about 5 minutes. So
I've seen the numbers. I'm not sure he needs that much practice.
He probably would beg to differ on that. So Hayden McGeary, National Player of the Year for the Colorado Mesa baseball team, will join us coming up in a few minutes. So while we have some time here, very quickly, the July 12th trial in Arapahoe County District Court, the Battle of the Bolin Sisters.
Yeah.
The 2 oldest children of the late Broncos owner Pat Bolin and the trustees he appointed. That was supposed to happen. Well, that has now been postponed. Next month's proceedings before Judge Johnny Safoni was scheduled to hear complaints by Amy Klimmer and Beth Bolin Wallace, who believe their dad, due to Alzheimer's, of course, the late Pat Bolin, did not have the capacity to sign his estate planning documents in March of 2009 and gave the authority to the trustees, Joe Ellis, Broncos CEO, and Rich Slivka, and Mary Kelly. And that the judge signed a joint motion to stay proceedings and vacate the trial, by the way. He granted the motion before lead attorneys Dan Riley for the trustees, Giovanni Rashadi for the Bolin sisters. So it means that probably they've reached an agreement, that something has been hammered out between the two parties leading up to this, because it means there's no need for it to happen. That either they're close to getting a settlement put together or something has already been reached. And so now it's a stay, which means the parties will halt the proceedings. Vacated means the court has simply cleared the trial dates that have been scheduled. So that's where we stand right now in terms of this. That it's been the motion to stay the proceedings and vacate the trial. And so an attorney that they called to consult on this article, Nick Klimas, said they're putting a pause on litigation. A couple of weeks before a trial, they could be close to a settlement, know the trial will be very public, and they can avoid that by settling privately. Look, we've said this before. Getting this resolved is crucial. Getting this resolved is essential. So, look, whether it's going to be Brittany Bolin that takes over the role of her late father as running the Broncos organization, whatever, it needs the infighting in the Bolin family,
right,
from Pat's first wife to now his second wife, needs to stop. And I get Beth Bolin Wallace and why she's upset about it in the past. She felt like she was on the track and she had done the things she had to do to be considered by the trustees. It's ugly. It needs to come to an end, and hopefully this will be the end is on the horizon in regard to this battle. In regard to do the Bolins have to end up selling it? Is that what this means? Will they have to sell the team or have the Bolin sisters?
What does a settlement look like?
Amy Klimmer, Beth Bolin Wallace, have they now agreed to some kind of compensation to quiet them, to go, okay, we're good with Brittany taking over as the principal owner, if you will, of the Denver Broncos? Doesn't include some kind of role for them with the team. I don't know. We don't know. It could be a myriad of things that could be out there that will lead to the settlement. Whatever the case may be, hopefully it's that it stays in the Bolin family. They're committed to being here. And not that the team is on any verge of moving or anything, but anytime you get a new owner, there's always that possibility, right? There's always that uncomfortable thing of, that person's not from here. They're not committed to Colorado. Maybe they'll move the team. And you like to avoid that if at all humanly possible.
The St. Louis Broncos.
No. Do not
make
say
the rivalry with the Chiefs a little more interesting.
It definitely would be. Also, really good article in the Post today, just get to this quickly, from Sean Keeler, talking about Teddy Bridgewater and about Bridgewater, his time at Louisville, of the kind of leader he was in the locker room, the kind of guy that listens to his teammates, that somebody that really it takes great pride in being a team leader. And a lot of this comes from a guy that was who's now a CU Buffs assistant coach, who was the Broncos, who was Bridgewater's mentor and offensive coordinator at Louisville from 2011 to 2013. And that's Sean Watson. That's with the Broncos, or is with the Buffs right now. That's with the Buffs right now. Former
Sean or Dishon?
No,
Watson.
Sean.
Oh, okay.
And he's a former CU coach, excuse me. But he was at Louisville, OC there, and says it starts with giving Bridgewater the opportunity. This is about his time in Denver. This is from Watson. And he knows he has to earn it. That's the beautiful thing about Teddy. He accepts that nothing will be given, and then he has to be ready to earn everything. I think that where he comes from is different than most everybody I've ever been around. He can take a team to another level. He really can. Let's hope those words are true about Teddy Bridgewater. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Hayden McGeary, the National D2 Player of the Year across the board in all the publications. He's going to join us next on the Jim Davis Show on the Team Sports Network.
First of all, it's hilarious.
Or twisted individuals. Yes.
The Jim Davis Show on Colorado's sports leader, The Team.
Welcome back. Jim along with the Buckeye Boy from the Bozarth Miller Chevrolet Buick Studios, most trusted name in automobiles. Wine About a Wednesday with Talon Winery. Send your wine in today to win wine from Talon. Also, our Qdoba question of the day. Home Run Derby is coming to Coors Field on July 12th. But how about a Home Run Derby with just former Rockies players, current Rockies players like Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, picking 8 players from Rockies history that you'd love to see go toe-to-toe in Home Run Derby. Send that to us today, 970-242-1340. Joining us right now, the Chick-fil-A Breakfast Team phone line. He's playing for the Sharks of Martha's Vineyard in the New England Collegiate Baseball League. He's playing with his Maverick teammate Spencer Bramwell. Joining us right now, the National Player of the Year across the board in every publication that covers D2 baseball. Hayden McGeary joins us. Hayden, I appreciate the time. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Congratulations once again. I'm doing fine, by the way, but congratulations on the clean sweep of all the National Player of the Year awards. Where do you keep all the hardware? Well, I mean, you're out in Martha's Vineyard right now, out in New England. Where do you keep all your trophies from this past season?
I honestly, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten anything yet, so I guess we're going to find out where I'm going to be able to keep everything once I get everything.
Exactly. It's going to be a lot. As once again, you mentioned you swept all the awards for Player of the Year and all the major publications that cover Division II baseball. And look, you led the nation in hits and doubles and RBIs and slugging percentage, all number one in Division II baseball. I know for you that the accolades are great, but I know that you still feel like, man, getting the chance to win a national championship, that's something that's always probably going to stick in your craw a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think our team is definitely capable of winning a national title this year, or at least competing more so than we did. So it kind of makes all the accolades a little bittersweet because the team didn't achieve its full potential.
Well, of course, voted National Player of the Year, and you're just the second CMU baseball player to be the National Player of the Year. Austin Kaiser did it in 2014, now Assistant Athletic Director for the Mavericks. So did Austin reach out to you with a text? Hey, congratulations on doing something only he had done before.
He did not, but I know he showed some admiration on Twitter, which I appreciated, and he gave me in person when we were still on campus a congrats on the season, and just let me know that it was fun to watch. So.
Hayden McGeary joining us today. I know you've got batting practice coming up, Hayden, so we don't want to keep you too long, but right now you're playing on the Martha's Vineyard Sharks with your Maverick teammate Spencer Bramwell. That team off to a good start, 11-6, late in the South Division in the New England Collegiate Baseball League.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely completely different than what I think both of us are used to as far as living. The East Coast is completely different than anything I've been a part of. But it's a lot of fun. Team's a lot of fun. There's a lot of good talent out here, so it's good. It's good to get some good competition even in the summertime too.
Now, what about as far as the biggest change for you in terms of on the field? You mentioned all the talent that's out there, and obviously you've played talented guys in the RMAC and also in the South Central region as well, and face some really good competition, some good arms on the bump. But what have been some of the biggest changes for you in terms of the on the field part of it, playing with the Sharks?
I honestly haven't noticed anything as far as on the field. I took about a 3-week break before heading out here, just with getting a flight out and stuff like that. And I think that's been the toughest part so far coming out here, is just getting back in the swing of things, getting the timing back at the plate, getting back in the rhythm of the game. But I don't think there's much difference in what we did in the spring versus out here.
Now, clarify this. Is this a wood bat league?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. How has that been for you, making the transition from the metal to swinging a wood bat?
It's been tough. It's always tough, first couple at-bats, first couple of days with the wood bat, but I'm starting to get used to it. I know Bramwell he's hit 2 bombs already, so I think he's used to it. So, but yeah, just getting back into it with the wood is definitely a little bit harder than getting back into it with a metal bat. So, but it's a good challenge.
And, of course, coming back to CMU next year and hopefully maybe completing some unfinished business, right, with a trip to Cary?
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely a sour taste in everybody that's coming back's mouth. So,
hey, one more. I'm sorry, go ahead, Hayden.
Oh, I was just going to say I think that'll be a big emphasis next year.
One more thing that is off the field for you. You mentioned it's been a bit of a change out there. In terms of just obviously geography, those kind of things are a big change. But what's off the field been the biggest change for you being out on the East Coast?
I mean, being like a 5-minute drive from the beach, where we live with our host family, there's a beach about 2 blocks up the road that we can get to. And then probably just the weather, just the humidity. It's been a big. I'm sweating like a pig right now, so that's definitely something you got to get used to, is hydration and just staying dry, I guess, the big thing.
Well, I hope you have the best of luck on the field. Also dealing with humidity and make sure you hydrate, man. Make sure you hydrate.
Thank you.
That's my big sports medicine tip for you. That's as far as it goes for me. Anything else, you're gonna have to consult somebody with certainly a higher pay grade. Hey, Hayden, congratulations once again on being named the National Player of the Year by the American Baseball Coaches Association, completing the sweep of all the major publication awards. I appreciate the time and best of luck with the Martha's Vineyard Sharks.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Hayden McGeary joining us this morning as he gets ready to head to batting practice this morning. But Hayden, so far like he talked about, it's been a little bit of an adjustment for Hayden at this point in time, switching to the wood bats. Right now, Hayden's hitting 182 on the season, and so far, has yet to hit a home run for the Sharks. But Spencer Bramwell, who's also out there, he's hitting 278 right now, and Spencer's got a couple bombs, tied for second on the Sharks in home runs so far. But they're off to a great start in the South Division of the New England Collegiate Baseball League, 11-6 record for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks.
Is that the old Cape Cod League?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're still looking for a correct answer for the number game, by the way.
Okay, go ahead and give it to us again.
How many Rockies in franchise history have multiple 20 or more home run seasons. We have a guess of 5, and that is low. Somewhat considerably low. It's definitely into double digits. Different Rockies with multiple 20 home run seasons. Ryan McMahon with 4 more bombs will join this list.
Okay, so first correct answer today, text it in to us, 970-242-1340. It's the number game. First correct answer wins an antipasto salad from Junction Square Pizza at 7th and Main. All right, Ethan Jordan is the voice of the GJ Rockies, going to join us at 9:20. Tyler Sandoval, former Delta Panther, current member of the Grand Junction Rockies, going to join us on tomorrow's show. So we'll have that coming your way next hour and also tomorrow as well on the program. All right, 8:47. We'll take a break and we'll come back. Still need your...
We don't have any breaks left this hour.
That's right. I'm sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm not used to burning the break already. We had to get Hayden McGeary on.
We can't do that.
Never mind. Stop that. Thank you for reminding me that we already took that break.
We got to hang on for 8 more minutes.
We could do that. That's not a problem. So there's still plenty of time, though, to text in. Thank you. Because like I said, welcome. I'm not used to already using that break up. And we're looking for the 8 players, past, present, for the Rockies to do a Rockies, all Rockies home run derby. And I'm still kind of debating on the last 2. Mm-hmm. Looking for, like I said, 8 players. And I have my first 6, which it's got to be 1 through 6, your top guys. Todd Helton, Larry Walker, Vinny Castilla, Nolan Arenado, Cargo, and Dante Bichette. Mm-hmm. Part of me wants to go Big Cat. I'm going to put Big Cat in at number 7. I'm still wavering, mulling over, ruminating on number 8.
I got the original 4 Blake Street Bombers: Dante, Vinny, Big Cat, Larry Walker. And then I got Todd, Nolan, Cargo, and Chuck Nasty.
All right, so text in for our Qdoba question of the day today, your top 8 Rockies for an all-Rockies home run derby, 970-242-1340. Let's get to the text line. Also, don't forget, Wine About It Wednesday. Got a complaint? Send it our way to win wine from Talon Winery. Let's see. Middle school Mike's got Galarraga, Castilla, Bichette, Cargo, Tulo, Holiday, Helton, Story. It's good, solid 8.
Yeah.
Got one from Mike this morning. This comes from, we talked with Aaron Solomon from Esquire. The PC wrote about the recent Supreme Court ruling against the NCAA and how that has a potential impact on minor league baseball players going forward. This is from Mike. Some friends of mine in coaching have talked over the last 10 years about how baseball is becoming an elitist sport with the amount of money parents spend on equipment, travel teams, lessons, and so on. When we grew up, none of this was part of the equation. Parents needed to buy some cleats and a glove. Little league or rec leagues cost maybe $50. These minor league pay issues seem as though they'll continue to exacerbate this issue. The only kids that can afford to not only survive on these type of wages, but actually afford the proper nutrition and training that they need to advance through the system are players with financial support from family or the top prospects that sign huge contracts, which that's what Aaron Solomon's talking about. And that's why there's the push for the minimum, the $15,000 a year salary for all minor league players. It shouldn't come down to a guy that gets a big signing bonus. That's how he gets through. Or a guy has to go to Schwimmer and the guys at Big League Advance, and they get a cut, get a taste of their salary the rest of their career. It shouldn't come down to that for guys to play minor league baseball. And Mike, I agree on a lot of what you're saying there in terms of that gets back to sports specialization.
Right.
And kids not just, hey, I'm going to play, it's baseball season, I'm playing baseball. It's football season, I'm playing football, basketball, whatever. I'm rolling into the next season. It's turned into a very specialized world for youth sports. There's some good things there, but there's a lot of bad things. And like you said, the cost to play club sports, it's a heavy price to pay. It's not cheap. Having my granddaughter play club soccer, not a cheap proposition. Not a cheap thing in terms of paying the actual fee to play, the travel that's associated with it. Mm-hmm. You got something you're going to say? I'm sorry.
And for baseball players trying to go pro, it takes a lot longer to get the money.
Yes, it does.
Unless you get drafted really high and you get a nice bonus, which they've kind of reorganized that too. Unless you do that, it takes a long time to get the money. Football, you can go to college now with NIL, but you got to go to college for 3 years, but with scholarships, everything's taken care of. And then if you get drafted, you get a very nice rookie deal. Basketball, it's only 1 year out of high school. For the kids that are going to play Major League Baseball, if you get drafted and signed right out of high school, unless you're a top 4 or 5 round draft pick, you're toiling for 4, 5, sometimes 6 years in the minors, having to live on this. And who knows who makes it or not, based purely on talent alone, when you have some of these things that are working against you.
And even Fernando Tatis Jr., who took advantage of these services of Big League Advance, whose dad was a former big leaguer, he wasn't considered a top prospect.
No.
But fortunately for him, he was able to get the money, and I do feel like it's not flat out loan sharking,
right.
But
it's close.
But it's kind of close.
I think the only redemption they have is if you don't make it, you don't have to pay them back.
You don't have to pay them back. I think it was like $350,000 that they gave him, advanced him, helped him have his own apartment, own accommodations, trainer, better nutrition, and look where he is now.
Right.
He's one of the bright young stars in Major League Baseball. It's got one from Robert this morning. $7,500 a year. How does a player develop properly? The players need to play year-round, right? Or do the players drop in and out of the system? Well, you can play in your minor league season, and then sometimes there's summer. There's the Arizona Fall League that some guys go and play in. My question is, how can anyone survive on $7,500 a year? It's an insulting wage.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. One from our colleague Buffalo Mark. What a great interview with Solomon. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Montreal's an amazing city, and the Great White North is always well represented at Bill's home games. My wine is not eligible, but I like it here. The teen girl driving a huge truck who didn't realize that Broadway has a left turn only lane at the Ridges and swerved in front of me yesterday. Damn it. Let's see. From Josh, don't want Todd in there and watch him hit solid line drives with no home runs like his actual appearance was. He was a little bit deceptive with Helton as far as being the team's home run leader.
Mm-hmm. He also gave his 8. Josh did, too. Big Cat, Cargo, Holiday, Chuck, Tulo, Walker, Bichette, Castilla.
All right. So do we have a winner yet for the number game?
We do. We're waiting for a name back, but 15 different players have more than one 20 home run season for the Rockies. And I did the math. 28 different Rockies have combined for 83 20 home run seasons for Colorado.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the contest.
It's another winner on the Team Sports Network.
Sorry, I just had to work that in.
So, because I don't have a name.
Okay. But we have a winner, though. Hopefully we'll have a name. I'm going to have to play that again if we don't get a name. Because you might have to pick somebody else if there's another correct answer. So please respond to your text at 970-242-1340. Ethan Jordan, who calls the games for the Grand Junction Rockies, is going to join us next hour at 9:20. The Rockies off yesterday. They play the Rocky Mountain Vibes in Colorado Springs tonight, 6:30 first pitch for that one. The Rockies on the road after a very successful homestand against Great Falls. So we'll talk with Ethan Jordan coming up in a little bit. Text or call the show today. Still time to get in your wine for Winer Wednesday with Talon Wine. Also, your 8 Rockies players you'd have in Home Run Derby. I think Josh makes a good point about Helton, though. I mean, he led them in home runs, and he's the home run leader in franchise history. Not a guy that really hit prodigious home runs, though.